Well, good morning and welcome to a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus, where we're going to be spending about the next 45 minutes together playing with the makeup. So, some beauty on the outside, and then we're going to memorize a Bible verse together. So, some beauty on the inside. And what are we going to be doing today? Well, first off, my name is Wendy. And today we're going to be having an everyday glam adventure using a couple of Urban Decay palettes. Now, one of these palettes is one of my super favorites, and this is called Moondust. So we're going to be adding some, you got it, sparkle shimmer onto our lid. We're going to be playing with some cherry color, and we're just going to have a fun time enjoying the colors that God has given us and being women of God. So remember that you can ask your question online while we are live, and I will do my best to get that question asked and answered, whether that is something about the Bible verse or something about the makeup look that we're doing today. So what is our easy makeup theme for today, you ask? I'm so glad you asked. So our theme today is over 40. Try this cherry and Moondust makeup look for a fresh glow. So we're going to jump right in. So go ahead, subscribe, grab your brushes, grab your lashes, grab your makeup palette, and then get back here and let's get going.
A little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus. Thursdays at 8, can't wait.
All right, well, our foundation verse, if I can get my mouse to show up, there we go. Our foundation verse for this podcast is Psalm 119, verse 11. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. And all of our verses for season 3 are going to be, well, okay, we're just going to have technical difficulties through and through today. That's okay. We're going to persevere. God's got this. Okay, so all of our verses from season 3 are going to be coming from Color Me James. So we are, can you believe it, more than halfway through. So I did a little something for you, and I need to actually change the link on here. So for those of you who are traveling along on this journey a little bit after the rest of us, I created an email series that's going to guide you from the beginning to the end and follow along with all the music and the songs and the graphics and everything. So if you'll head over to a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus.com, and you know what? The link is going to be in the show notes. So there's a special page that it's like something books, Color Me James or something like that. Anyways, the link will be in the show notes, and that'll get you to that email series. One email comes out every week. So if you haven't already picked up your copy, whether it be spiral, paperback, or the ebook, make sure that you do that. And then that will guide you and get you through. And from around the world, good afternoon to you as well. It's so good to have you with us, Anthea. So let's look what we got going on here. Okay, so we're going to take a look. Last week, we were on a little bit of a break, and we were finishing our review of, finishing up chapter 2 and then working on our review of chapter 2. So the last verse that we were working on, the final verses of chapter 2, verse 25 and 26. This, I think, has become one of my favorite songs. So let's just give a listen to this. We'll just get to the meat of the verse, and then we'll press on to our next thing.
Joshua sent out 2 men real low, sneaking into Jericho, just to know. Found shelter with Rahab, a risky spot, but she heard what the Lord had already brought. She hit him up top, her heart aligned, belief in her soul, actions combined.
All right, I'll let you listen to the rest of that on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. But I'm telling you that, and I was speaking to my mom the other day, and she was like, "Yeah, I got to tell you, the other day, I walked into your dad's office, and he had that song playing." So even my parents like it. I just enjoy that time with my mom as we work through creating those songs together and then getting those published. So today our verse is going to be coming from chapter 3. Let me see if I can get that turned down just a titch. There we go. So chapter 3 is where we are going to be at. And we are going to be, like I said, we're on the downside. There is only 5 chapters in the book of James, and the last one's a little bit small. So, like I said, we are more than halfway through. We are in week 23, and there are, actually, next week is going to be halfway through because that's 24. There's 48 weeks in it. So, maybe we'll do something special next week for our halfway through mark. Okay, so anyways, chapter 3. Starting chapter 3 today. So, chapter 3. Verses 1 and 2. Don't be in any rush to become a teacher, my friends. Teaching is highly responsible work. Teachers are held to the strictest standards, and none of us is perfectly qualified. We get it wrong nearly every time we open our mouths. If you could find someone whose speech was perfectly true, you'd have a perfect person in perfect control of life. And that's James 3, 1 and 2. So what we're going to be looking at in James chapter 3. So we've come through chapter 1, and that was kind of an introduction to life and its obstacles. And then we've worked into, and really like control of yourself and giving it to God. And then chapter 2, we talked about the power of the tongue and control and self-control as far as it relates to your relationship with Christ and the Holy Spirit. And so now we're going into chapter 3, and chapter 3, 4 is kind of in, they called the commentary I had read, well, the commentaries that I had read talked about it being like, you remember in poetry you were used to talk about like A, B, A, B, kind of how it flows. Well, this is like an A, B, A. So we're going to start out in chapter 3 talking about the pitfalls, the downfalls of the tongue. And then in the middle of that, in the B part, we're going to talk about, well, let me see if I can get this straight here because I don't want to tell you incorrectly. I'm not even sure if I saved it yet. I didn't. Okay, so anyways, he's gonna, in the B, he's gonna talk about the middle of that sequence. Let me think what the description of that was. Well, we'll get there when we get there. And then A, he's gonna go over it and rehash it again, just like in chapter 2, where he kept, in each one of our cluster of verses, he kept saying the same thing. Control your tongue. Be aware of what you're saying. Watch your speech. And then it was about works. It was about you can't separate faith and works. They go together. You can't be all works. You can't be all faith. It has to be a marriage of the two. And in the end, he summarized those last 2 sections of verses we did by separating works and faith and comparing that to a corpse. So death. So serious stuff. So now we're going to go back to speech. And we're going to talk about, in this particular section, we're going to talk about the behaviors and expectations of being a leader, a teacher, and how you are held to a higher standard if that's what you want. So maybe that's not really what you want. So again, the power of the tongue is going to come into play here. So I look forward to this week. I can't wait till you hear the song for this week. I think it's definitely it's kind of split into 2 parts. So to help you memorize the verse, you're going to pay attention to the chorus because that's the verse directly, and then the bridge, which is the summary of that verse directly. So that last line, if you could find someone whose speech was perfectly true, you'd have a perfect person in perfect control of life. And so you'll see that little section right there in the bridge with kind of a cool echo to that. So I hope you enjoy that. That'll come out, I don't know, maybe tomorrow or Saturday. So have fun with that. The lyric video to that one's not done yet. So just be ready for that. So let's see. We are going to talk about the products. That's actually not the image of what we're going to be using today. Let me just go ahead and show that to you. I didn't realize I hadn't changed that out. So we're going to be playing today with the Naked Cherry palette. But no matter what it is that we're using, it's all going to be on a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus.com/shop. All the new products are going to be the ones right there on that landing page. Even when you go to the homepage of the website, all the new ones, which are in today's episode, well, as of right now, today's episode, they're going to be on that homepage. So again, we're going to be using that Naked Cherry palette. That is from Urban Decay. And then the other one that we're going to use is that Moondust palette. And the link that I found to this is actually not the Urban Decay palette, but it's exactly like this. And all of the shade names are the exact same shade names as this. So evidently this palette, I don't know, maybe they made it for Urban Decay, I don't know, but it all looks exactly the same and the wearability is going to be the same. So enjoy that. Okay, so let's jump in. We've got that verse scrolling across the bottom of our screen. Let's get into our everyday glam playing with Cherry and Moondust. So, we're going to start out, we're going to prep right, just like if you're going to paint your house, you are going to prep it because prep matters. You do a poor job on the prep work and the whole thing is not going to last very well. So we're going to start out with our professional primer. This is from Benefit Cosmetics. We're just going to get a little bit of that here. And so when I got in here this morning to begin the podcast, I had a Windows update. So for those of you who are Windows users, be ready for that little nightmare. Either you already just had it or you're getting ready to have it. So I hope you have everything saved on your computer, as I did not. It was no big deal though, but I was rendering a video for the podcast and I lost that part. So anyways, be ready for that. So we're just going to put that primer everywhere that we need to focus on either oil control, or maybe you have separation of foundation, a little unevenness of skin tones, maybe you got some wrinkles going on. This will help with that. Then we're going to move on to our Bye Bye Under Eye. This is the shade 11 Light Nude. Yeah, I know, right? Aren't those cute? I don't usually have nails on, but my work bestie, Rachel, she does her nails all the time. They're always so beautiful, and her hands just look so pretty. So I felt like I needed to join the revolution. So there you go. Okay, so Bye Bye Under Eye. Yeah, it's funny the things that you guys notice. Okay, so Bye Bye Under Eye. We're going to put just a little ribbon of that anywhere that you have got hyperpigmentation. Maybe you got some discoloration of skin. Maybe you have a little bit of redness like I got here. So I'm going to make sure to get that over on my chin. I got darkness right there in the corner. So we're just going to get that like big picture everywhere and let that settle. It is going to warm up to our body temperature while we talk, and I wipe that excess off my fingers. Once it is warmed up to our body temperature, only takes a couple seconds, this is just going to blend out so smooth and beautifully. So we're going to use that pointy tip of our Beauty Blender. And this one is the actual like Beauty Blender brand. This one you have to get damp for it to do its job effectively. I think this plays really nice with the foundation we're going to be using today. I love the Juvia's Place. It is definitely a full coverage foundation, that velvety matte that we're going to be wearing. It's a little on the thick side. So for those of us who love full coverage, it's absolutely fantastic for that. But if you like maybe a little lighter weight foundation, one way to get that and still get that coverage is to use a damp Beauty Blender. So I'm just going to use the pointy part of that. We're going to get it all around our eye. We're going to blend out onto the top of the cheek there. And that is going to allow for us to, there you go, get rid of that redness. So now we have just kind of an even tone going on. We're going to use the round end of this now. I'm going to take that cat hair off, though, as that does not belong. This does not bring your pet to work day. Okay, so we're going to put that there. We're going to give just... Wow, that's too much, Wendy. We're going to... Here. See how I got too much there? So if you squeeze into your tube, put that on the top, and then release it, it will suck that off of there. And then put it back in the container so you can use it next time. Okay, so we're just going to tap that. And see, that's what I'm talking about. This one, like literally that little bit is going to go a long way. So we're just going to tap that around until it has spread itself out. We have shared the love of that foundation so we can get a nice even coverage. We're going to blend that up into our hairline here. I'm just going to kind of flick up into there. Right around those brows. Oh, I forgot to ask you. Go ahead and give me a shout out. Let me know where you're coming from. Yeah, since I have foundation on me, I don't know if I'll be able to show you on the screen, but let me shout out your country or state if you're in the US like me. I'm always amazed when I go back and I look at the stats for the program, the different countries that have come and visited. I think it's so fun that we can be like all the way around the world from each other and still enjoy a thing together. Okay, so we're just going to work that right up into that concealer that we put. I'm just tapping it. We're blending out on the chin there. All right. And once you feel you are good and blended, then we're going to grab our setting powder. This is the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder Ultra Blur Tone Up in the shade Rose. We'll tap that out. You can see we just got a nice little reservoir there full of the powder. I'm going to be using my Juvia's Place triangle. You just slide your fingers in that little thing there. We're going to start out with that pointy that's right. Rainy England. Aw. Well, I'm sad that it's so gray there today, but I'm very jealous of the rain because we haven't had any for a minute and there's not any in the forecast. So enjoy your rain and I'm sure your plants love you for it. So we're just going to tap that in and we're going to set it right around the eyes. Yeah, in Texas, we're a little bit colder than normal. I think we're going to be like 96 today, but no rain, no chance of rain. We did have a nice rainy spring though, so we're still ahead as far as rain levels go, water levels go. So just using now that big end, and we're just going to press that in. And we're going to go down the center. There we go. Pressing in again. And then finally, we're going to get that forehead. So, or let me get that powder over. There we go. Pressing that in. Oh no, the oaks panicked and dropped their acorns early. Yeah. I'm not sure why. It's not because it's dry here, but I have about, I think there's 5 giant pecan trees in my yard, and then I have a couple of mulberries and some elms and a whole lot of other things. And so our leaves have been dropping early too. Last year they dropped so late. Last year I didn't even pick up leaves until I want to say it was like end of November. And this year I'm already having to pick up leaves. So I have a koi pond and I may have to pull I tented because I got so many trees. So I may have to pull my tent out early. Let's see. Are you getting viewers? Yes, no. I do think that the shorts videos are helping a little bit. But I'm seeing on the, like these videos that we're doing right now, that's where I'm getting a lot more of the viewers from the other countries is on the show videos. So don't know. It's a nice mix of all, it's not my job to figure out how or to know or make you watch a video in a certain way. So if little short bursts are what make you happy, then I have the shorts for you. If what you like is to follow the whole thing and see the big picture, then I've got the long form video. If you're one of those that enjoys a good live concert and you want to be live on here with me, well, then I got the live for you. So I'm just putting things out there so that no matter what your favorite way to do something is, you've got something that will fit you, that will make you happy, and you can enjoy beauty on the outside, beauty on the inside with us in your favorite way. So we are going to grab an IT Cosmetics brush. This is a foundation brush, dual-ended. And I'm going to grab my KVD Shade Plus Light Refillable Contour Palette. And we're going to start out by using the flat side of our brush here. We're just going to get into that contour. We're going to go from the top of the ear, kind of in a curved motion, to the corner of the eye. We're going to stay above that hollow of the cheek there. And then right here beside the hairline. I do like the short videos though. I think for me, sometimes I get into, I don't want to just sit there for a long time. I just want to learn a little thing and get out of there. So sometimes I like the short videos myself. But if I'm in the mood to like do a whole look, then I'm going to watch, I'm going to go to YouTube and I'm going to do a long video, because nothing is worse than, which is why I loved last week's video of the Beetlejuice look. Nothing is worse than you find a look that you like and all you see is like little bits and pieces of how to do it. You don't get the whole like look in there. That's very frustrating to me because I'm watching the video because I want to know how to do the whole thing. So to me, I'm kind of a mix between the two things. I like a little bit of short from time to time if I'm just, doom scrolling. And then I like the longs when I'm actually trying to do something. So I'm kind of a mix between the two. What are you? You like shorts better or do you like longs better? I'm just going to tap in that darker one and put that right there on the outside corner a little bit. Here we go. I am going to grab my Aflano Blush Plus Highlighter palette. We got this right here. We are going to be in, I think we're going to do this one here because of the colors we're using with that cherry. I think this is going to be a little better. So we're going to use this one and then we're going to use this highlighter right here. So I'm going to grab highlighter. We're going to grab this brush, which is a MAC brush as well. So we're just going to give it 2 swipes. These are pretty pigmented, so you don't need a whole lot. So 2 swipes. We're going to go right on the top. I feel like the Aflano palette, the highlighter is more pronounced if you do the highlighter last. Usually, I know I do the highlighter and the bronzer, and then I put the blush in between. But with this particular palette, I think it plays a little better, a little nicer if you do the blush second, and then we're going to do the highlighter on the top. You can just see the highlighter a little better, and the highlighter is just so beautiful. Okay. So we're going to do that. Let me see where, there we go. We're going to grab our highlighter brush from Anastasia, and we're going to get right in here, right on the top of that, and then right beside that brow right there. And let me see what we got there. Laura Mercier powder. Yes. I do like the Laura Mercier. And one thing I like about it is, number one, it's very blurry. I've been accused of using a filter, even though I don't use filters. And it's really just because of that ultra blur. Also, there are several different undertones of that. So they've got the lavender one, the rose one, there's a neutral, there's a honey, there is a warm. So no matter what your undertone is or what you're trying to, multi-use that powder for, there is going to be an option for you. So if you have a store near you that lets you play with the products, I know Ulta's just now getting into international, so maybe you've got, even if it's not that brand, just go play with the different colors and see, do you like better the look that you achieve when you have the the honey. Now, if you know that you have a warm foundation already, then that's just going to be the way to go for you. If you already know that you've got a little bit of yellow gold to your tone, then you're going to want to use that honey one. So just go play. Just go play. Have fun. Experiment. See where it takes you. Okay, so let us say our verse together, and then we're going to go on to our lips. I love these two colors we're going to be using today on the lips. Okay, so our verse is scrolling across the bottom of your screen. It will be around here in just a second. Okay, here we go. We are about halfway across the screen, so let's do this. Don't be in any rush to become a teacher, my friend. Teaching is highly responsible work. Teachers are held to the strictest standards, and none of us is perfectly qualified. We get it wrong nearly every time we open our mouths. If you could find someone whose speech was perfectly true, sorry, I'm getting a little fast, you'd have a perfect person in perfect control of their life, and that's James 3, 1 and 2. So let's take a look at our lips. Today we're going to be playing with 3 things on our lips. We are going to be playing with lip liner, Juvia's Place. This is the Luxe Liner in Scorpio. We're going to do an After Dark lipstick from Urban Decay. And then we're going to add a little bit, tiny bit in the center of the MAC Snob. And that's the Maximal Matte there. So let's go ahead and start out with that Scorpio lip liner. We're going to start out in that Cupid's bow. Just give us a nice little heart there. I guess it's the bottom of a heart. There you go. And that's just going to give us a nice point of reference. And now we're going to round that out to the outside corners, just outside that lip line. There we go. Now we're going to give ourselves a point of reference here in the bottom center. Again, just outside that lip line. And now let's round that out to the outside corner. Okay, now we are going to have that darker lipstick, the After Dark, that's going to go on, but I'm going to kind of fade this just a little bit before we get to that. So let's just go ahead and use a little bit lighter pressure just inside of that line we just did. It's just going to soften that line ever so slightly. All right. We're going to grab that. I'm taking just a little bit of a step back, making sure I like the shape I just created. Sides are even, looking good. I'm going to grab that After Dark from Urban Decay. This particular one, I think they're sold out. I could not find it on Amazon, but I will tell you there's a few shades kind of close to it in NYX. I didn't see them in person, so I didn't want to go tagging those because I don't like to do that unless I actually know for sure. But this is a dark, I think I would call it like a rose or a cherry color. So, you know, whatever you've got in hand, you may be even using a different palette, but the same technique we're going to do today. So just find something that the outside color that you're going to be using, whatever that color is, that's the color that you're going to use now. So if you're doing this with chocolates, that dark chocolate that's going to be on the outside, that's what you're going to do right here. Okay, so we're going to lipstick right over that lip liner and only going to go about halfway on the lip. If you don't like the control that you have here, go ahead and use a lip brush to be able to do this, but I'm just going to use the lipstick kind of tilted in just a little bit. So you can see I just got right on the outside edge. Okay, So now we've left the center of that vacant, and that's where we're going to grab our snob here. And let's get that right in the center. There you go. And now you've got a nice kind of a raspberry ombre lip. That's really pretty. Really, really like that. Okay. Woo woo. I know. I love it when a plan comes together. Okay. Now we're going to jump into what we're going to be doing with our shadows today. So we're going to start out in that Naked Cherry palette. And this was one that they did, I don't know, a while back. So here's where we're going to be today. Let me see if I can get this right here. So we're going to start out in this lighter color here, which is called Hotspot. We're going to do that on the upper brow. Then we're going to do the Bang Bang, and that's going to go on about 3/4 of the lid. So you're really going to see that one as the most predominant color. It's a little bit lighter, and that's what we're going to do there. Then we're going to go over to the, Young Love. Young Love is going to go on the very outside. So this is a color that will be the color of the darker on your lip. And then finally, we're going to go into Privacy, and that'll be the deepest, darkest color on the outside. I have a feeling I'm going to want to intensify that just a little bit more. So I'm going to grab my Urban Decay Blackout, which is just a black shadow that I like to use just to add a little glam intensity to the outside of the eye. So let's go ahead and grab our first brush. This is going to be a Morphe M441. And we're going to go into that hot spot right here. And this is just going to go up on the top of that brow bone. And the concealer that we put on before is kind of acting like a primer. We didn't need to really prime the whole lid because we don't need it for the coloring. We just need it for the wearability. Okay, so there is that. Then I'm going to grab this is a MAC something. This is just, traditional shadow application. You could even use the brush that's in here. This one actually came with, if I can get it out. This Naked Cherry palette actually came with a brush. So you could use that small end there if you want to. For this, I just like a little more control with a flat one as opposed to a round one. So we're going to go into this right here, which is the Bang Bang, and go ahead and do that. And that's going to go in here on the inside. And again, this is going to be the most color that you're going to see. We got a little bit of light happening in here today. Like I said, this is going to be an everyday glam. So this is something you could wear this out on a date or hot date with your hubby or whatever. Or this could be something for, I'm a widow, and so therefore single. And so this could be that date with your friend fixed you up. What do you call it? Oh, a blind date. You could wear this to that. Although you may just not want to go all together. I don't know. Okay. It's good enough on a weird conversation. Okay, let's get this on the other side too. There we go. And we're going to go, like I said, about 3/4 of the way across with that. We're going right from where you can feel that bone right there. We're going from all the way up here, 3/4 of the way across. So almost the whole lid is getting this color. Don't worry, it's not going to be boring. We're not going to leave it like that. We're going to have some fun. Okay. Just got a nice light pink color there. Actually, I think I'm going to bring this over just a little bit more. I just want to make sure that we get nice and covered there. This is such a pretty palette. Okay, we're going to set that brush aside. And now I'm going to, let's see, that one's a little too, let's do this one here. Okay, this is a Morphe M321. We're going to use that. And we're going to go into that Young Love here. Actually, we could have used the one that's in the palette as well. We'll use that for the next color. Okay, so this is going to go just kind of on that tip. You can be a little more generous with it. It can kind of flick to the side because we're going to go right here. on this outside. And we're only going to come right there like that. This is 1/4 of the way. And we're just going to come over a little tiny, no more than halfway right here. Let's do that same thing over here. We're just going to come right there halfway. There we go. And got any fallout? There you go. And we'll use a smaller brush to bring that around to the under part of the eye in just a second. So don't worry too much about that right now. So actually, I'm going to use that same. Now let's do the brush. Okay, we're going to grab the one that's actually in the palette. I like the smudger that's on here. It's nice and compact and short, and the bristles are nice and firm. So we're going to go into that privacy right here. Just get that on the tip. We're going to go right here on the outside corner. And we're just going to bring that in a little bit. So that's like maybe half of the young love that we just did. And better to have a little bit on your brush and have to keep coming back than put too much. We're just going to go right here under the bottom of that color. Okay, I'm going to go back to that brush. Let's go back to that young love and let's just get that. We're just going to go over that right there and blend that out a little bit. We just want to make sure it's nice and smooth and blended. Let's get the fallout. Okay. So you can see right now what we've got is just a nice little blend. You can see where we're intensifying on that outside corner, but I think I want just a little bit more. So I'm very glad that I grabbed that blackout. I'm going to grab a smaller smudger for this little project. So let's grab this one right here. Just a little tiny because we just want a little bit. So this is going to be the Morphe M508. Looks like that may have blue on it from whatever my last project was. Okay, we're just going to get it right on the tip. And you seriously do not need much of this. And we're going to go right on that lash line on the corner. And we're just going to flick from that corner. There you go. Same thing over here. Just a little bit and then flick up from that corner. I'm just going to, whatever's left on here, I'm just going to bring that up just a little bit. There we go. Now let's go ahead and blend that out just a smidge with that privacy. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that brush that came with the palette. We're just going to go in that privacy. And we're just going to go over that blackout. There you go. And then we're going to make sure that blend is good right over here. Okay, so you can see what we've got now is just a little bit of intensity on that outside corner. Then it's blending in right here, just a little tiny bit. We'll soften that out here in just a second. I'm going to go back to the fluffy brush that we started with. And let's go into that color that we originally had. We're just going to soften this upper color here. If you feel like you need to bring it up a little bit, you can kind of tap it in that and tap it in that. So that's the Bang Bang. And then that one, that'll give you a little something to blend. There you go. And we're just going to blend that out right there on that top. Make sure that color is nice and smooth. Okay, so let's go ahead and add the color to the underside, and then we're going to use that Moondust palette. So that smudger that I used, this one right here, which is the 508, we're going to use that to get the color under the eye. So I'm going to start out right here in the Young Love. I'm going to get it right there on that tip. We're going to go right around that corner, halfway. Now we want to kind of mimic what we did on the top. So I'm going to use that same tip, go right in here on that privacy, right here on about the outside quarter. And then you can bring that up around to the top of the lid there. Okay, now we want to add a little something something color. So I'm going to go right in here into the Bang Bang. Right here on the inside, and meet that other color, the Young Love. Go ahead and take that Young Love a little. I want to bring that over just a smidge. There you go. Any fallout? I don't think my eyes are appreciating this. Wow, you can really see how the colors that we've got today have made my blue really pop on my eyes. So, that's fun. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the Moondust. I'm so excited. So this is the Moondust palette. It has 4 different freakishly magnificent colors. So the one you probably heard the most about is going to be the Space Cowboy. And that's a beautiful, just a nice little shimmer. It's not really color, so you're not going to use it for color. It's just really for shimmer and iridescent, best applied with just your finger. So today we're going to be in this Star Cowgirl. So I'm going to just get that right here on the tip of my finger. You can see that shimmer. So we're going to get it on the tip and we're going to put it on top. There you go. And just get that on top of that. That's going to give you just a nice glam shimmer. Now I want to make sure that I catch this on the inside of my eye. So let me grab, let's do this one here. I really love this one. This one almost acts like a finger. This is a MAC 194, I think. So just nice and flat. So you can just get that right there. We're going to put that right on the inside corner and just give ourselves some shimmer right here. Because it's not really a color, you're not adding, I mean, it's got some color to it, but really it's just almost just a shimmer in itself. If you feel like there's anything that you missed up here, you can go ahead and use that brush to kind of set that in place. Oh yeah. Can you see that shimmer? That's so pretty. Okay. Let's go ahead and add our liner now. We are watering today. I think there's ragweed in the air today. Okay, so I'm going to start out with this Juvia's Place. This one is the Kajal. What is this one called? It's got a new name. This is Egyptian pencil liner. That's a name. So let's give a good sharpen on the tip of that. We're going to flare out this liner on the top. Oh, Why is that not sharpening? There we go. We're going to flare out the liner just a little bit on the top to further give us color on the outside edge. So I'm going to start outside and I'm just going to bring it in halfway. And then I'm going to give a second liner on top of that one to make it wider on the outside. There you go. And then we're going to manage all of that together with that Too Faced Better Than Sex waterproof liquid eyeliner. This liner is fantastic. It does great once it's dry. So if you have eyes watering like I do, try to get that tapped before you put this on, just because we want it to set before it gets any wetness on it. Okay, so we're going to give that a little bit of a shake. Beautiful tip on that. Make sure that you store it downward. We're going to line a thin line from the inside corner all the way to the outside corner. And so this is going to help forgive any sins for where you place your lashes. And then in this particular case, it's also going to help, oh man, it's also going to help intensify the color on this outside corner. So I'm going to raise that up on the outside corner. So you can see it's wider on the outside than it is on the inside. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So the beauty about this particular eyeliner is that because it has this kind of tip, you can press it down more firmly and get it wider on the outside. So we're just going to give it a little more pressure out here. And that's going to give us a wider line. And actually, I think I'm going to give just a little flick up. There we go. Let me do that on the other side too. There we go. So you can see we've got just a little bit of a flick up there on that outside edge. And now I'm going to line the bottom. I did this last because my eyes are watering so badly. Okay, so we're going to start right here on this lower. In the lash line, we're going to go about halfway. And then today we're actually going to line the water line. There you go. Okay, my eyes are just watering like crazy now. So we're going to let that set for just a little bit. We are going to play with a new brow product. Well, I mean, I've used it before, but it's been a minute. So this is the, nope, not that. Black brows. Okay, this is the Lime Crime Bushy Brow. So for those of you who have fashion colored hair, sometimes it is a little bit of a challenge finding brow products that will have your brows, you know, work with your hair. So fun thing about this, I actually have Anime, which is a lime crime color, on the side here. And so they have done some brow products that are the same color as the colors that they have in their hair color series. So this is the Anime Bushy Brow. So I'm going to be using that today for my brows because, you know, blue brows goes with an everyday glam. Okay, so whatever your brow product is of choice, we're going to go ahead and do that now. This has kind of a teardrop tip. I will say that this is a little kind of crumbly, so it's like a pomade stick kind of thing. I don't know. It could just be that the one I got shipped to me was a little older. I'm not sure, but we're just going to run with it. It's been working okay. So I do like that it's not so wet. I don't really care for a super wet brow product. Oh my goodness, my eyes. Okay, same thing on the other side now. We're just going to give that a nice thickness right here at the front. And then we're going to give it a nice tail over here. And then we'll brush that out. This actually has a brush on board with it. So that's a nice little add as well. If you got blue brows, it's not like you're going to be getting a natural brow. So, you know, don't stress too much about it. Okay, on the other end of it is the brush, so just kind of give it a brush. Don't brush too much with this or you'll take out all the product. So just a little word of warning for you there. We're just trying to get it to not look so... I know the color's called Anime, but we don't look like anime. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take this brush and just go over it because it makes little like flecky things and I don't really care for that. So we're going to tap our eyes one more time because they're still watering like crazy. Okay, so we got our nice eye look going on. We've got our liner. We've got our brows done. Let's go ahead and get some mascara on. So I am using the Go Big or Go Home because it's waterproof and clearly I need that today. And we're going to use the Great Grip Tweezerman Great Grip Onyx. What is it again? Tweezerman Onyx Great Grip Eyelash Curler. Okay, I'm going to tap my eyes one more time. We're going to try to do this without tears happening. Okay, so across your screen is going to be your verse. So go ahead and find your sweet spot. So that is where you're going to pinch it and crimp it, and it is not going to pinch your eyelid. That's your sweet spot. Okay, so go ahead, and we're going to say 2 of the sentences and then move to the other eye. Okay, don't be in any rush to become a teacher, my friend. Teaching is highly responsible work. Teachers are held to the strictest standard. There we go, to the other side. Find your sweet spot. And none of us is perfectly qualified. We get it wrong nearly every time we open our mouths. If you could find someone whose speech was perfectly true, you'd have a perfect person in perfect control of life. James 3, 1 and 2. Okay. I'm going to grab my little magnifying mirror and let's go ahead and get our mascara on. So again, this is the Go Big or Go Home. Nice fluffy brush on this. Oh yeah, so it looks like my eye watering. Melted my liner before it dried, so we shall have to fix that. I figured that was going to happen. So like I said, that Too Faced liner is fantastic if it dries before wetness happens. If the wetness is happening while it's drying, not so much. So if you are doing makeup for a wedding or something, oh my gosh, what is going on with the lights today? If you are doing a wedding and someone is already, tearing up, crying, or whatever like that, you do not want to use that Too Faced liner. I would probably go with just using a pencil as opposed to a liquid liner, only because you're just inviting opportunity for problems. If you can happen to catch a moment where you or they are not crying, then you could go back and add the liquid liner later. But I just think if you're already tearing up, it's just going to be downhill, or maybe it's an uphill battle. Okay, and so we're not getting false lashes on the bottom, so let's go ahead and mascara those bottom lashes, same as we always did. So we are going from root to tip here. Sweeping up under those tips so we can make sure we get those nice and covered. I feel like this mascara, which I don't think I've used it since last week, has already dried out quite a bit, which is a little weird because it's been sitting here closed. But it is a nice water resistant formula, so we're just going to press on with it. Now we're going to do the other side. Making sure we cover all of those lashes from root to tip. Here we go. Since it tended to be a little on the drier side, I'm just going to go ahead and do those one more time. All right. Now we are putting false lashes on, so it doesn't matter too much. These lashes that I'm using today are a little on the wispy side, so I'm just going to give an extra coat just to make sure I get as much volume in there as I possibly can. Okay. There we go. I had something tickling on my face there, so I just want to make sure that does not take up residence. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the lashes on, then we can worry about fixing up that dark spot at the very end. So here we go. We have got, this is the Line and Lash from Allure, and this one is the Faux Mink Wispy. I don't care for the adhesive that was in here, but I do love the shape of these lashes. So we're going to be using this one today in keeping up with it's kind of an everyday glam look. They give you a little bit of volume. You got a flare, so the lash is smaller in here, wider on the outside. This gives you like a your lash but better sort of look. I think that's actually the name of a lash from this maybe. Okay. So we're going to take the lash. If you needed to, if these are brand new lashes, you're going to trim from the outside edge. If they're also new or you haven't worn them very many times, grab each edge here. You're just going to kind of roll it like this. That's going to soften that band a little bit so it will wear a little bit easy and be a little bit softer for you. Let me actually see what's going on here. Looks like I've got some, every once in a while, when you do your lashes, especially when it's an adhesive lash as opposed to like a, man, these nails are driving me crazy. I cannot, there you go. There's a little bit of adhesive on here. So if you'll just take your finger and your nail, and you can just get that adhesive off of there. There you go. There's also an adhesive wash if you're one of those people. You can go ahead and wash the lashes with that adhesive wash. It's just like an extra step. Honestly, I would rather just replace the lashes than to be giving my lashes a bath. It's hard enough to give my dog a bath. I'm not going to give my lash a bath. And heaven help you if you try to give your cat a bath. So, okay, there we go. Let's just go ahead and check that last little corner. Okay, and let me get the chat going again because I can hear some of you dinging in. There we go. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Even if what you're going to do is go have dinner with girlfriends or, just your best friend or family or whatever. This is just a nice kind of all-purpose look that's just like a little bit elevated. So that's super fun that way. And you can change this up with any kind of colors that you want to use. You don't even have to use the cherry palette that I use. The more that you stay kind of in the family of your skin tone, the more like natural it will look. The more you drift away from your natural skin colors, i.e. like, why did I just say i.e.? It's like I'm sending a text, right? Like if you went with a blue or a purple or something like that, then the more fun and going off into like a regular glam you're going to be doing. And the color that we used today from that Moondust palette, you could actually use that on top of any color because that Cowgirl is just almost a clear shimmer. It can be applied on top of any color, browns, purples, blues, doesn't matter. Okay, I think I finally got this problem fixed with this lash. Okay, there we go. So now we got our lashes all cleaned up. Playing with the new glue. I have enjoyed this new adhesive. It's not new, but new to me. This is Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive, and this is aloe, and it's clear. No latex in this one. So if you have experienced any kind of allergies to lashes and or adhesive, it's probably because it had latex in it. This does not, so you can just, alleviate one kind of problem that you may be having. So this one has a brush on it as opposed to the one that I had been using. So you can see the brush there. We're just going to put that on the inside edge of the band, and then we're going to turn that band sideways, and we're going to get it right on the back side, right where that lash band is going to be going up against your skin. And we're going to make sure we get special attention to the outside corners, because where are you most likely to get lift on your lashes? That's absolutely right. It is on that outside corner. So again, dip that in, get that on that top of that band, dip it in again, and get it on that back side of that lash band. Now, if you're working with a set of lashes that has the clear filament on there, even though you may not have like a backside to the band, you can still do that same thing, and it will work the same way and help those lashes stay. I have found that the ones that have the clear filament, two things. One thing is when you're looking forward, you can see like the little dots where the lashes are in between, and I don't particularly care for that myself. And the other thing is, I think you will find that the clear filament bands, or the Invisibands as they're called, have a tendency to be a little more stiff. So if you have found like you getting poking on either end, it's probably because you've got that Invisiband, that clear band. If you have found that maybe it feels like it just doesn't feel like it sets right, it could be because you're using an Invisiband. A lot of times stiffer bands will make it feel like that way, like you can actually feel the band all day long. That's not fun. So we're gonna go over here now. We're gonna grab that lash right there in that center. You can see our adhesive has started to get a little bit on the clear side, and that means that it is about ready to get set. So we're gonna grab that and we're gonna set that right there, right where our lash meets our eyelid. And then we're going to get the inside down right there on that eyeliner line, and then walk that outside edge right up against where our lash is meeting our eyelid. And then I'm going to just press those two together. Sometimes you may have to come back and convince it a little. I'm going to use the tip of that to work my lashes in there. Here we go. It looks like I got a lash not playing nicely over here. There we go. Okay. I'm going to grab the one on the other side, right there in that center. Set that down right on that liner line where our lid is meeting our lash, or where the lashes are meeting the lid. And then on the outside edge. And I'm just going to make sure that they're all in the same space. We're just going to press those two together. Take that tip, make sure your lashes are worked into that. Okay. And then I'm just going to kind of press here. Make sure we are all happy. I still watering like a crazy person. There we go. Okay. So now we've got just a nice everyday glam look, minus all the eye watering that we got going on. Now we've done this. We want this to stay all day. We do not want this to go anywhere. You do not want to be in the middle of your coffee date, dinner date, date day, movie watching, whatever, and have anything go awry. So we're going to grab our Juvia's Place. This is a Ready, Set, Sealed setting spray. Give it a little bit of a shake. Get that set. Okay. And barring anything crazy happening, you are going to be good for the rest of the day. Okay, well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It has been a delight to hang out with you through thick and thin, through tears and not. So I look forward to seeing you throughout the week on A Little Bit of Makeup and a Whole Lot of Jesus.com and on social media. And then let me get my slide over here. We're going to take a look again at the verse for this week that we're going to be working on, which is going to be James chapter 3, verse 1 and 2. Don't be in any rush to become a teacher, my friends. Teaching is highly responsible work. Teachers are held to the strictest standards, and none of us is perfectly qualified. We get it wrong nearly every time we open our mouths. If you could find someone whose speech was perfectly true, you'd have a perfect person in perfect control of their life. And that's James 3, 1 and 2. So we're going to be working on that today. And again, all these verses are coming from Color Me James. And this week we've actually got, I think it's a crossword puzzle this week. So great picture for that. So available in spiral, paperback, and also the ebook. And then on YouTube, I've got the Beauty and Grace Insider, the Cherished Queen level on there. Comes with the ebook for free. So if this is something that you're interested in, you want to do that, go ahead and get over to YouTube, and then you'll get that ebook for free. And then let me see. I think I've got a little picture. Well, if I can. Let's go here. There we go. Okay, so the picture that you're going to be doing this week on the coloring book, this right here. And then the crossword puzzle that we're going to be doing this week is right here. Crossword puzzles aren't really my favorite. I know some people are like super about crossword puzzles. My favorite is the word searches, but you know, you got to keep everybody happy. So let me send you out with a blessing this week. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. Heavenly Father, how thankful I am for each one of these ladies that has hung out here with me, Father. No matter what country they're coming from, no matter what neck of the world, I am so thankful for them. And I pray a special blessing on them this week as they head out. Help us this week, Father, as we step into the very last week of the first half of Color Me James, that you would help us to really work and be diligent on memorizing the verses, not just the verse themselves, but also the content of it. What is it that we can learn from this, Father? Open our eyes, open our hearts, and show us what it is that you would have us to learn and to know from this. I am just so thankful for you, and I pray that God blesses you as you head out this week, and that whatever it is you have going on in your life. I every Wednesday, well, I mean every day pretty much, but definitely on Wednesday, I pray specifically for the ladies that I see that are like constantly here. So if you're new or maybe you're here all the time, I would love to pray for you specifically. So if you would, you can shoot me an email. You can do the contact form on the website. You could send me a private message, whatever works for you. I would love to be able to pray for you in a specific way as we head out this week. Whether it's something about, it could even be a makeup thing. Maybe you just want to be more adventurous, or maybe you need to set more time aside for scripture and you just don't know how to do it, or whatever the case is. Maybe you've got health problems. So send me a message. Let me know what that is so that I can specifically pray for you throughout this week. All right. Well, it has been a delight hanging out with you. I look forward to seeing you throughout the week and on social media. Enjoy your crossword puzzle and your coloring page. I sure do love you. Mwah! You have a great rest of your week this week.